Hello and welcome to the Valley. In the next hour or so we're going to look back at Charlton Athletic in the 80s. It really was an amazing decade. The club almost went out of business altogether. The team went on a roller coaster ride from the third division right up to the first. Let's start with the first full season. Mike Bailey is the man in charge, and Mike's trying to pick up the pieces in the third division following relegation from the second. Charlton's team's a mixture of youth and experience. Paul Walsh is just 18. He's a raw talent, and alongside him the legendary Derek Hales. Sheffield United also parade some famous faces like Martin Peters, plus the experienced striker Bob Hatton.
Walsh going around Kenworthy again, but Kenworthy was back at him at the expense of a corner to Sheffield United, rather against them for Charlton. And Robinson will take it. Again, the big men from the back are forward, Shaw and Berry. So Robinson with the kick. Richardson really half pawing that one away, but the clearance completed there by Phil Jones. Steve Britt for Charlton. Berry, who'd gone up, stayed up, kept it in play well there. Now can he get a cross in there? And in fact he has. He's found Walsh with it, and Charlton get another corner. Well, the big defender did well to get it in for Paul Walsh, and Charlton keep this little bit of pressure on Sheffield United now. Colin Powell will take the corner. Shaw, number 4, is in there. Floated in there, back header. Oh! Hales has got it! A back header by Peter Shaw, and Derek Hales gets his 7th goal of the season, injured though he is. Still shows that in a 6-yard box, injured or not, he's deadly. It's touched on here in the first place by Peter Shaw, and there's that number 9, Derek Hales, a side foot, giving Richardson no chance in the United goal. Hales' goal is good news for the Charlton management. On the left, Benny Fenton, the assistant manager. In the dark glasses, Mike Bailey, the manager. Warman. Charlton playing with a bit of confidence now. Walsh. Losing touch just for a moment. There's nothing of him, except a considerable amount of promising skill. As Hales puts Robinson on. Oh! Against the post by Walsh, but the flag was up. And the whistle had gone. There was an offside. Bit of excitement for all that. And a lovely drag back. Hales playing it on there. Robinson turning it back. Walsh hitting the post, but by now the flag was up and the whistle had gone. Kenworthy. Trail. A long ball forward. Off goes Hatton. Shaw's gone with him. Well, if it falls for Hatton, that could be dangerous. And it very nearly was. Bob Hatton, who's certainly been around a bit. Luton, Blackpool, Birmingham, Carlisle, Northampton, Bolton and Wolves, and he's scored goals wherever he's been. He finally had the beating of Peter Shaw there, and that wasn't far from being an equaliser. Kenworthy's header. And one by Shaw for Charlton. And another. Warman. Flicked wide there for Phil Walker. Walsh is after this one. It's cut out by Moore. Offside flag was up, but again a good piece of refereeing there by Clive Thomas, because Charlton were in possession. Walker feeding Walsh. Oh! Well, he'll be very angry with himself for that. If anything, he had too much time. Having done so well, gliding past that defender there, he had all the time in the world and the goal almost at his mercy. Peters. Moore. Trying to play it long there towards Hatton, but Warman cutting it out. Walker. Now the young substitute, Kevin Smith. Smith for Colin Powell, crossed him again, and Martin Robinson bit of play by Kevin Smith that led to it in the first place. Robinson gets the second for Charlton and his 8th of the season. And it really was a nice bit of build-up there. From the moment young Kevin Smith has the ball played to him there, a lovely little chip pass here to Colin Powell. Inch perfect that one. And Powell pulling it back, and Martin Robinson finishing it off. Now Powell. A flick through. Robinson on his way again. Oh, and that should have been number 3 without any doubt at all. Shakes his head because he can't understand how he missed that one as well. But Sheffield United caught all over the place in defence here. Robinson in behind them, but wide of Richardson's goal. And while the excitement's going on there, the policeman keeping his lovely old horse warmed up there. And I imagine having a quiet look at the game from time to time. Kenworthy. Walker. It's a beautiful touch again. Robinson inside for Walsh. It'll come for Smith. Oh! Well, that looked an impossible opportunity for him. But Richardson was a yard or 2 off his line, and there was a bit of dip in it as well. And as Kevin Smith turned here, just off the top of the crossbar. Jones playing it on here for Hatton. Now, if Sheffield United could pull one back now, we would have quite a finish. Hatton playing it for Martin Peters. Oh, good save by Nicky Johns. How about a rifle just inside that far post to Martin Peters. Again, Bob Hatton, the goal maker, or at least the chance maker, and Martin Peters driving that well, and Nicky Johns getting down even better.
Into 1981, and Charlton are riding high, prompted from midfield by the likes of Dick Tideman and Phil Walker. This Charlton team are proving they've got the stamina to go all the way. Colin Powell and Martin Robinson are always prepared to break down the flanks.
Roberts doing a good, secure job at the moment at the back there for Hull. But here's Walker. It's a good bit of play by him, and that very nearly crept in. Terrific acceleration there by Phil Walker, and as we see again, there wasn't an awful lot for Tony Norman to spare there. That might have just crept in. Very good one there from Roberts, straight to Tideman. A little touch there for Robinson, looking to get past Hooligan, finding Walsh. And that might come for Hales, on the other hand it might not. A bit of play there, deep in defence by Hull City. And number 4, Steve Richards. Corner. Take it, and both Shaw and Berry have taken themselves, both 6-footers, into that Hull City 6-yard area. There's Peter Shaw, and it's Marwood getting it away, only as far as Tideman, who hits a terrific goal! Well, you'll have to go a long way to see a better one than that. And a face that shows more delight than that, for that matter. Well, the ball was only half cleared, and just look at Tideman. Tremendous shot, just inside the far post. Jump by Berry. Hales playing it for Robinson. And Charlton looking as though they could well take over this game now, as Madden plays it in there. And it'll come with it for Hales. It might still come for Hales. And a good stop that time by the keeper. Really under enormous pressure now, as the ball was played in well there, and Hales really battled for this one against 2. The ball fell for him there, tried to get his shot in, and the keeper got down well, not helped by the defender. Charlton again with Tideman. And this time, Walsh is onside. Played back, and in by Hales, 2-0. And suddenly everything's collapsed for Hull. They defended with a bit of spirit there for 25 minutes, and they've conceded 2 goals in the last 3 minutes now. First by Tideman, and now by Derek Hales, who's really got it in for Hull. Walsh, a very good run here. Played sensibly back from the byline, and Hales' touch finishes it off. Well, manager Mike Bailey looks a little furious about something there. They're 2-0 up, but he's still not happy. And here's Tideman. Berry. Now Shaw. Long ball forward again. Robinson might get in behind them here, and Hales is in there. Oh, and a good piece of keeping again, but Hales is still in possession. Powell with a little cross there. Can Robinson get to that one? Nodding it down there, and they're still in trouble. And it's there by Walker. Well, Hull made so many of the troubles there themselves when they had opportunities to get it away, and they were a little unfortunate right at the finish there. But it's 3-0 with Walker the scorer. Turned in first time. Hales, I thought, might get it, but the keeper, in fact, did well there. Back for Colin Powell, dinked in again there for Robinson now to get up and turn it down well. And as they tried to get it away, it hit back off Walker, and it's 3-0. Walsh again, nice little touch that time for Colin Powell. He's never lacked a yard in pace. Getting to the byline, whipping back a good cross there for Walker! Good wing run there by Colin Powell, and the cross hit in a little firmer there actually, and Walker reaching it well, but it's wide of that post. Free kick for Charlton. About 12 minutes left. Walsh feet in the air. Robinson coming in there. And Walker's header. Hales is in there. Robinson's in there. The flag was up. The keeper had saved it. Some really exciting stuff that by Charlton. Everything in the air with some really expert heading. But there was an offside at the crucial moment. Hales with a header, and Martin Robinson, who was just offside with a header, and Norman tipping it over in any case. McLaren playing it through on the far side. It's Mutri challenged by Terry Naylor. Steve Richards has come up very late for this one. And he's the man they've aimed for, and in fact it was Richards who got it! Knocked into the back of the net there by John Roberts. And Hull have pulled one back. Well, the big former Arsenal defender got an unexpected goal there for Hull City. And as far as I'm concerned, it's his first of the season as well. Hooked in from, as you can see, 5 yards. No chance for Nicky Jones. Crowd would dearly love another goal from Charlton. They had 3 in the first half that raised all their hopes for something like an avalanche in the second, which hasn't really happened. Charlton have not added to those 3 in the second half. Hull have scored their 1, but here's Steve Britton up at Charlton in the last moments of the game, and that's a good headed clearance again, or not so good actually, as it comes straight to Colin Powell. Tideman. Robinson on the far side, getting in there with a header. Walsh, Hales, and as near really as Charlton have been to a goal in the second half. It's a good header down here by Robinson, and Walsh really completely missed his chance there. Hales had it knocked away. A bit of spirit there about Charlton in the last couple of minutes of the game, but the game looks pretty well won for them, as Hooligan, though, puts it forward again there for Hull City. Shaw's going to surely get to that one. He does, at the expense of a corner. John Roberts comes up again. Steve Richards has come up from the back as well. And it's nodded away there by Shaw, and then into the back of the net there. I think that must have been Edwards. But it was a spectacular piece of play there, right at the last. And the header was there, and then there was the header in the first place by Roberts. It was nodded away there by Shaw, and then a really spectacular overhead kick there by Keith Edwards, and that makes it 3-2, which is a really surprising scoreline.
1 week later, and an absolute beauty from Derek Hales at Chesterfield. This 1-0 win, one of 11 victories away from the Valley. By the time Charlton visit Elm Park at the end of March, they're clear at the top. Reading include an old Charlton favourite, Richie Bowman, and a young Kerry Dixon. It's a stiff test for the defence, the fullbacks Terry Naylor and Phil Warman, and the centre-halves Les Berry and Laurie Madden.
Now Dixon suddenly with a bit of a chance. He's got some space wide on that right-hand side. Heels coming up in support. But it wasn't a good ball from Kerry Dixon. If he'd laid it further back, I think they might have had more luck, because Heel had made a good run down the middle. So it's Bevan waiting to take the kick. Meanwhile, the referee had been over to have a word with a police officer about something that happened. I imagine something perhaps was said or thrown from the crowd. The header coming in. Oh, what a great header! Lovely header from Steve Hetsky, and that's a dream start for Reading. Completely unmarked. Here comes the corner. Steve Hetsky, 4 goals already this season. That one's number 5 from the moment it leaves his head. Hales that time getting it right. Switch wings and comes through, and Colin Powell makes it count. Well, that really came out of the blue, didn't it? Powell had come across to this near side, saw a bit of a chance, and went through, whacked it, and it may have taken a deflection on the way in. Here's a good chance to see it. Powell, determined run through from this. The right foot shot comes in there, took a bit of a deflection, and Steve Death stood no chance at 1 each. Nice header down from Hetsky, but straight back in from Tidyman and Robinson. Good determined tackle by Phil Warman. That's aimed at Hales, and again Hetsky's there first. Now Walsh, left foot centre, does well. Hetsky away and straight back into trouble. What a ridiculous error by Jerry Williams. He headed it straight back in after Hetsky'd headed out, and Derek Hales, well, he doesn't have to have a go twice at those. Derek Hales, absolutely deadly if you give him the chance. Curious goal. Look at the header away from Hetsky. Back in by Williams. There's Hales. Straight past Steve Death. 2-1 to Charlton. Tidyman to Naylor. Inside to Smith. Bowman again. To Gary Heel. Being forced a bit wide, he's got Bowman in the middle. Still Gary Heel. Oh, what a good shot that was, and only a first-class reflex save from Johns kept them ahead, because that was a really scorching shot from Gary Heel. So just over halfway through this second half, and it's the third division leaders, Charlton Athletic, fairly comfortably ahead at 2-1 now. Derek Hales on the ball for them at the moment. Driven hard, and Death had to stretch up towards that one. And Charlton players claiming that he got a touch, and the referee agreeing. Derek Hales it was who whacked that shot in. There he is out on that far side. And the dispute was, did Death get a touch? The referee says yes. Well, it flicked off the crossbar, and it looks as if he didn't get a touch, but nevertheless, it's a corner to Charlton. Colin Powell to take this corner, which, as we've just seen, perhaps should not have been. Berry up there, and so nearly Charlton went 3-1 ahead with the header from Hales. And as we've already seen, well, that wouldn't have been terribly fair. Admittedly, the referee didn't have the benefit of the slow-mo as we did, but here's how close they came to making it 3-1. Hales with the header, just stopped by Steve Death. Sanchez trying to get a little combination going with Dixon. This is Earls on the left-hand side for a change. Right-footed, though. Right-footed player puts it back in, only for Tiedemann to get it away to Grit. It's not a bad ball upfield for Walsh either. Walsh is outnumbered at the moment. Little return ball, and Walsh is through for the third. Paul Walsh is through for the third goal, and that really was a nice build-up from Charlton. I think the Reading defence stood still for a moment, hoping that the offside flag would go. Walsh with a lovely run here, selling defenders' dummies all over the place, bursts through, takes the return pass. Offside perhaps? No, he wasn't. Left foot makes it 3-1.
Mike Bailey's team hit a few of the finishing hurdles, but they go up with 59 points from 46 games. Only 2 points for a win, of course. Charlton bounced straight back. It's a fine achievement. Well, strangely, having got promotion, Mike Bailey went to Brighton, and backroom changes really became the order of the day. Alan Mullery came and went, so did Ken Craggs. The club was in the news again when the brash young chairman Mark Hullier replaced Michael Glickstein. But in the autumn of 1982, a quite sensational arrival. Alan Simonsen came from Barcelona. Simonsen was the Danish footballing superstar. He was a former European Footballer of the Year, and he made a huge impact. 2,500 people watched Alan Simonsen playing for the reserves, and when Charlton played Newcastle, the TV cameras just had to be there. Alan Simonsen lived up to all the hype. So Simonsen in his favourite number 7 shirt. Newcastle's 7, Kevin Keegan, is out, but there's McDermott and Waddle. Back in Denmark, an amazing 60% of the total population tune in live to watch these pictures.
Newcastle now coming forward once more, but Bullivant getting it away. Clark beaten by Simonsen. He's on his way. He's got Hales up as well. That's a ball played perfectly for Hales. Back again for Simonsen, and just wide of that Newcastle goal. But a brilliant break there between Simonsen and Hales. The first ball from the Dane coming up now. He looked up and saw Hales, played to perfection there to beat. Hales looked up again. Simonsen to continue his run. The ball finished up, not hit properly, and just wide. Waddle taking off Gale's foot as Gale was about to shoot, but Waddle trying to curl it and hit it straight at keeper Nicky Jones. Gale shoved in the back by Clark. Free kick for Charlton. Put it to the head of McAllister, which he does, and Hales is there! My word, that nearly worked. A thumbs up from McAllister, because that was an inch-perfect free kick hit by Les Berry, and a good jump by McAllister. Hales was in there with the touch, outside the post by a fraction. Waddle heading it on. Gale trying to make something of it. Elliott there. Newcastle throw. Hales coming deep. Played nicely into the path of Robinson, and now Bullivant. Simonsen's away on the right touchline. Bullivant trying to pick him out. That's a lovely ball from Terry Bullivant. Played inside by Simonsen for Harris, who gets it. Curtis bonking it into the middle, but Edworth getting it away as far as Hazelwood. Hales there for number 10, and then for McAllister. 1-0. Don McAllister just back into the side after that long layoff from injury as Hales plays it into the middle. It was touched on by Robinson, half knocked away by Carr, and then pushed in by the number 4, Don McAllister. Very to Ezra. Robinson took too long to consider it, but then Simonsen almost put Robinson in as Martin in turn took too long to make his clearance. Berry could spell this for Charlton. Robinson's onside, a good break by him. So Robinson for Charlton, played across there for Hales, and knocked over the top by Harris. Unlike Hales not to get a more positive header than that one. A glancing one, but it fell for Harris, hit it first time on the volley over the top. Elliott. Wharton. Ferris, beaten by Curtis. Full advantage played there by the referee though, as Curtis finds Simonsen. Good little piece of dribbling this. Good dogged piece of play there by the Dane. Down he goes. And Hales surely offside, but it went wide in any case. And the Simonsen run was really quite electric. I suppose at the end they were even looking up and thinking they might have got a penalty out of it. Past one, and a real bit of determination from the little man. There's not much of him, and they may have thought themselves a little unfortunate maybe even not to get a penalty, but Hales clearly offside as he comes to turn the ball wide. Elliott's up, his fellow defender on the far side of the penalty area, but it goes towards Hales, and in the end Elliott was coming in fast, and it must have just nicked off a Newcastle player because it provides Charlton with a corner. A few anxious faces in that Newcastle 6-yard area. As Simonsen and Robinson go across there, it's with Robinson. He'll play it again for Alan Simonsen. And a shot, and a great goal by Simonsen! Well, that will delight the Valley fans. Superbly taken goal after Robinson had played the corner to him. Through the crowd, beyond Carr, into the net, and Charlton leading 2-0. Martin played back again for McCreary. And McDermott. And, well, that wasn't far from being an own goal. Either off Elliott or from Curtis. In fact, it was Harris who very nearly got Nicky Johns in trouble. Bullivant. Harris. Got Simonsen wide on the right. Bullivant. Harris. Nice little bit of play there by Robinson. Berry come up from the back. Curtis. A little chip there for Simonsen. That was a well-played ball by Curtis. And Simonsen's got it back beautifully. And an offside this time against the Dane. And a free kick to Newcastle. Wharton to Clark. Anderson. Again, McDermott on his way. Very much more forward now in the second half. And a header. Oh, off the post. Well, young Paul Ferris very nearly got in with a goal there. Only 17, and he must have thought just for a moment that was going to nick off the post into the back of the net, but that's the sort of luck Newcastle are having overall with the injury problem they've had. And then Ferris left free, headed the ball against the post. Waddle, I think it was, tried desperately to get the rebound in, but Charlton got it away. Waddle, McCreary. Now Carney. He's got McDermott there as well. Anderson and Gale away wide on the right. McDermott once more. Stopped by Berry. Now here's Bullivant. Had a big influence on the middle of the field. The battle there this afternoon. Simonsen, the ball coming nicely for him, and he beats Wharton and finds Harris with a good ball. Not content with that, he's really making strides into that Newcastle penalty area. Curtis played again for Simonsen. Now what will he do? Oh, very nearly scored. Well, he's fast gaining a public here, there's no doubt about it. Tempting the defender to come in, and it needed a fingertip save from Kevin Carr. Bullivant again for Charlton. And a corner. Paul Elliott, the big number 5, in there again. Both he and Bullivant, in fact, start 3-match suspensions after this game, which will disrupt them a little bit, because there's no doubt about it that Elliott at the back and Bullivant in the midfield have had quite an impression on this game. 10 minutes remaining. A corner again for Charlton. And Bullivant hitting it straight at Elliott. Deflected for Hales. Oh, and a good save by the keeper. Hales normally makes sure there, and it was a tremendous little toe poke with a real economy of effort. But equally, it was a good piece of keeping. Boom, there, and a good save. Anderson. Newcastle's throw. Elliott's strong and powerful and excellent timing. Good play there by Wharton. Now Hedworth. Thanks to playing just his second game, he's only 18. McDermott has played considerably more. And what an amazing moment! That's as near to an own goal as you'll get, and Les Perry, having just been booked, his heart will be bumping now, because it was a good cross in from Terry McDermott. And what about that for crashing the ball against your own post, and out again, and Nicky Johns was onto it. Still 2-0.
Well, sadly, injuries restricted Alan Simonsen's appearances for Charlton, but the Dane just loved a big occasion. In January 1983, Charlton had a dream FA Cup tie at home to Ipswich Town, the team that Bobby Robson built. Charlton knew they had to raise their game. They did just that. It was a classic, but with a twist in the tail. Just look at the quality of the Ipswich side that Nicky Johns has to keep out. Bobby Robson's UEFA Cup winners have Osman and Butcher at the back. The Dutchman Tyson and Walk in the engine room. Mariner and Brazil at the height of their striking powers. And Charlton's league form isn't good at the start of '83.
Butcher. Mariner. Oh, it's gone. Brazil onto the left foot. Could be a problem here for Charlton. No. Nicky Johns saved it and Berry got it away. Charlton were looking at the linesman for a moment, but the flag stayed down. And Nicky Johns certainly saved his side there. And Ipswich missed a golden opportunity. Terry Butcher. Mariner. That might be cut out by Robinson. Mariner's mistake there, and Robinson on his way. Steggles trying to hold him up. Robinson's gone by him, with Simonsen waiting in the middle, and it's in there. An own goal by Butcher. Charlton in the lead. The mistake was in midfield, and Butcher eventually was the man who got the touch. An improbable opening goal. Mariner's pass intercepted here by Robinson. He held off Steggles. Simonsen was waiting in the middle, but it was the touch there by Butcher in off the post. Charlton in the lead. Steggles, who was beaten by Robinson on that run. Well, that's the way it's affecting him at the moment, and it's the moment for Charlton really to get at Ipswich's throats now. And here's Simonsen. And it's there again! disgust on the face of Russell Osman there as Ipswich go 2 down. Harris gets the ball in here. Simonsen did the right thing. He had a right bang at it. Civil could only half touch it out, and that's meat and drink to Derek Hales. Two very satisfied gentlemen there. On the right of the picture, Lenny Lawrence, the new manager at Charlton, and next to him with a moustache, Mark Hullier, the Charlton chairman. Simonsen. And Gernon doing well under a bit of pressure there for Ipswich. That wasn't a very good throw by Civil. It was always going to put Steggles under pressure, but he made it in the end. And here's Mariner finding Brazil. Very backing off, supported by Hazelwood. Still Brazil across the face of that Charlton goal, and in fact it was a miskick by Grit, but it went behind for the corner. Hales coming back as Butcher comes up. Again, that threat to Charlton at the near post. Gernon, a big 6-footer coming forward as well. Flick backwards towards Gernon. And pushed away superbly there. Well, Ipswich must have felt that they were back there as Mariner came roaring in. Walk was in there as well. Mariner's header pushed away by Johns. Hales played back for Robinson. Quality of the passing has been pretty good by Charlton. There's a good one from Hales to Harris. Oh, and a nice little 1-2 with Simonsen. Harris across the face for the goal. Could so easily have been 3. Nice one too, what a beauty. But beyond Civil and the far post. Flick in there by Steggles for Eric Gates. Oh, was it out of play? It is now, and it's given the corner. It obviously wasn't out of play when Gates crossed it. So another corner for Ipswich. Both Mariner and Butcher now at the near post, with Grip the man on the post. There's Berry's flick on, and then Bullivant half got it away. Elliott's header, all hands to the pump there at the back, but there's still a bit of space here for Brazil to chip in towards Walk, and now for Gates, a little chip in again. Charlton really under the cosh at the moment. Tyson shot, and another own goal by McAllister this time. So Ipswich get back in it within 5 minutes of half-time. A bad time for Charlton to have conceded a goal, and the second own goal of this cup tie. McAllister it was who got it away, thundered back in. McAllister's deflection taking it wide of Nicky Johns, and Ipswich now have something to aim at. Butcher, Robinson, Hales, Simonsen. Hales again, Simonsen, lovely combination there. Oh, and a really strong but a fair challenge by Butcher at the expense of a corner. The linesman indicating that the 45 minutes are up. Robinson, and a little cross, Elliott was there, Hales missed kick, which is unusual, and Mariner puts it behind for another Charlton corner. Taken. It's Simonsen again. Played again for Bullivant. Tried to get a little chip going in there, but Ipswich were back in strength. Walk. Problems here for Charlton as Gates takes it up, chased by Berry, brought down, and what's he given, a penalty? It's a penalty, I think. Les Berry coming through on Gates. There was the challenge. The referee has set a penalty. John Walk is the man who takes them, and they're still remonstrating with referee Robinson. I think that the challenge was outside the box. That's their view. But John Walk, who has scored with something like 33 of the 37 penalties he's taken for Ipswich, now has a first-class opportunity of repairing the damage of the first 15 minutes. So Walk with the penalty, and it's 2-2. Some comeback, and that's the perfect penalty. Robinson trying to get Simonson away. Robinson again, Hales. Robinson. Now can Harris get to that one? Oh, help by Gurn, and he can. Harris doing well. Will he get his shots? Oh, and McAllister hitting it over, with the fans claiming that there had been a handball in that Ipswich penalty area just before it came to McAllister. Well, Harris cutting in well there, and let fly. They claimed there was a handball there, and McAllister put it over the top. Gurn going to take real control of this cup tie now, Ipswich, but with the score still at 2-2. Tyson. And Walk, a brilliant break and a flick on, and pushed away brilliantly by Nicky Johns. But what a lovely break by Walk for Ipswich. Tyson just playing it through a delightful chip, and flick first time and an instinctive save there. Reaction shaved by Johns. Hales. Hazelwood, the flick in, and Butcher comfortably away, and wanting the midfield to close in on McAllister quicker than they did. Now Simonson. Caught it well, but always going up and over. But even though Ipswich may at the moment begin to look the better side, with players like Simonson, although he's having a quiet game, and with Hales, there's always got to be a chance for Charlton. Hazelwood. Robinson's gone wide on the far side. He is. Hazelwood again. Simonson. Oh, what a good ball there for Carl Harris. And a great shot, but he hit it straight at Civil. A lot of power in it, and a lovely ball by Simonson that set it up. Mariner, meanwhile, hit straight at the referee. Elliott, Harris. Lifted through there, and right through to Robinson. My word, that was almost in again, and it wasn't far from being another own goal, because the Ipswich defenders homing in on that one. Harris just getting it across there to Robinson, and that could so easily have gone in again off Terry Butcher. It's with Mariner, and now with Walk. And still so much to play for as it comes to Brazil. Oh, there's a chance now for McCall. And off the crossbar. Well, a corner's been given. And there was a lot of space here for Steve McCall. And it must have just been flicked up there by Nicky Johns. Hazelwood. Here's Robinson. Hazelwood. Simonson, but the touch wasn't really effective. But Simonson trying to come back and get it back again, but Ipswich now in full cry as Walk takes it up with Brazil up supporting him. Plenty up there in white, in fact, including Steve McCall, including Eric Gates. And another good piece of work by Nicky Johns, and what a fine match that goalkeeper's had. Right from the opening minute when he held Alan Brazil at bay, a series of really excellent saves. And there's a good one pushed away. So the last seconds. And Brazil is on his way, and he could win it here. with as speed as he did in the opening minute of the game from Brazil, and it's a corner. Oh, walk! It's there, and Ipswich have won it. Dramatically, right at the end, you couldn't get closer, in time added on, and Ipswich, from being 2 down inside 15 minutes, have made their recovery complete. The flick on, which in fact didn't quite happen, that the ball cannons off McAllister, and Walk buries it in the roof of the net.
I'm not ashamed. We have not been humiliated. We've played with a lot of pride. I'm very disappointed for everybody concerned with Charlton that we couldn't get a win or at least a replay, but I'm heartened by the skill and the team performance and the application they showed.
Well, you need a bit of luck to win cup ties. Ipswich certainly had the run of the ball that day. Alan Seamanson contributed 9 goals in 17 appearances and then moved on. And there followed what can only be described as a series of own goals. The finances came under scrutiny. Charlton Athletic lurched into crisis. There are last-minute dashes to the High Court and the Football League to fight off a winding-up order resulting from unpaid tax bills. It's overcoat time for Mark Hullier. In the spring of 1984, he severs all his connections with the club. Enter John Fryer, head of the Sunley Consortium. Fryer supported the club since the 20s. His arrival produces a surge of optimism. This fixture against Grimsby is crucial. Charlton had already postponed a game at Blackburn. The club could have folded, but the Sunley Consortium arrive just in time. But former chairman Michael Glickstein still owns the freehold of the Valley. They can't do a deal, and the fans can't believe it when they're told the future is at Selhurst Park. A 2-0 win over Stoke, September the 21st, 1985, the saddest day in Charlton's history. The result, virtually meaningless. It's the last game of the 80s at the beloved Valley. The fans are incensed. Despite the feelings of the supporters, the club moves to Selhurst. Against all the odds, they're promoted. But the Valley, acclaimed as one of the best playing surfaces in British football, is left to rot. The sight of the famous ground in decay tugs at the heartstrings of every Charlton supporter. The campaign to return to the Valley starts immediately, but the club will have to fight through a jungle to get back. Success on the pitch is absolutely vital. Lenny Lawrence has to keep Charlton playing at the highest level. His resources are virtually non-existent. Lenny does a fantastic job. His team clings on, but only just. Well, I've been joined by one of Charlton's favourite sons, Steve Gritt, a fellow who played throughout the 1980s and lived, of course, through all those traumatic times. Steve, I think it's over 400 appearances for the club. Is there one match that stands out in your memory, though?
Yeah, I think the game against Leeds. I think it was the year that was the first year they'd actually had the playoffs, and we ended up playing Leeds in the final game, and particularly the last one, the replayed game. We'd had already played 2 very good games against Leeds. We'd beaten them 1-0 at Selhurst Park. Then there was a very highly charged atmosphere up at Ellen Road for the second game, in which we actually played quite well, but were unfortunate to lose 1-0, which basically set up everything for the final game up at St Andrews.
What was your feeling going to St Andrews? Because you must presumably have gone there as big underdogs.
I think at the time we probably were. Obviously there was a lot at stake for both teams. Leeds were trying to get back into the First Division as it was then. We were trying to hold on to our First Division status. So there was a lot riding on that particular game.
Did the players realise how important it was then for Charlton, in fact possibly for the future of the whole club, if you like, to stay in the First Division?
I think they did. We'd obviously had the same sort of thing the year before. And I think the players liked the atmosphere in the First Division as well. They liked the thought of going to Manchester United and going to Arsenal and Spurs. And that's basically what they wanted again. I think everybody knew the importance of the game, not just for themselves but for the supporters as well.
So it's the match of the decade for Charlton in Birmingham. These 12 men wear the unfamiliar blue shirts with terrific pride and total commitment. Leeds have the former Charlton skipper Mark Aizlewood and John Pearson in their ranks. Let's join your commentator John Helm in the second half. There are no goals so far, of course.
Good refereeing has allowed play to continue there. Peak, Crooks, still cut out. And now Garth Crooks has a real shooting chance. It came back off MacDonald. The queuing up here, the Charlton players, and Crooks drives it straight at Mervyn Day. And Ashurst hit the ball straight at Walsh there. And now it's Leeds' turn to come charging forward. The game's gathering momentum. And Garth Crooks here hit the ball, good positioning by Day, and then there was a bit of panic, but Walsh surely handled the ball there, although the referee allowed play to continue. Reid in field for Lee, and there'll be a free kick because that was Aspin actually, who is going to get a lecture now from referee Gunn. What for, he says? It was for something that happened down on the touchline actually before that free kick, I think. And I think it's worth stressing that the man in the middle of your picture there in black, referee Alan Gunn, has done a sterling job so far in keeping things under control. You need experience to handle a match like this, and he's showing it all. Walsh, Crooks, handball, they screamed, it wasn't given, and Crooks turning quickly, put in the best effort of the night. Garth Crooks here showing all the experience of his days with Tottenham and West Bromwich Albion, turning and putting in the shot. It was well off the target. Owen Reid this time eludes the challenge from Styles and might try a shot himself, and Mervyn Day has to stretch. MacDonald and for Leeds. And Edwards, there's a nice little shimmy around Humphrey, but the ball has gone out, according to the linesman on the far side. Edwards doesn't seem to complain. And when will the deadlock be broken? Crooks. And Lee here. Oh, good shot from Lee. So Mervyn Day has had 2 or 3 shots to deal with this second half. So Leeds urged on again by this fanatic following. Edwards, Pearson, and there's no hope of that one, but it's a free kick for Leeds. Edwards caught after he'd played that little ball back to Pearson. A bit of time wasting going on. Every single Charlton player, well, I was going to say, is behind the ball, but now Lee has moved away. It seems to be an eternity before the free kick's taken. From a Leeds point of view, they'll be hoping it's worth the wait. Adams is there as well, it's worth noting, but here's Sheridan, and it was a good effort. I tell you what, that was only an inch or 2 over the crossbar. It was perfectly placed. Adams runs over the ball. Sheridan stroked it. It was a little clip, really. Now, Boulder's a big fellow, but that's how close he came. It's the best Leeds have managed so far. We'll see again here just how narrow the distance was between the ball and the crossbar. Good try from Sheridan. And even though the ball didn't end up in the net, that will have encouraged Leeds a little bit, should they get in a similar situation. But now Crooks dummies, and Melrose loses his boot completely, and the ball eventually is, well, dribbled away out of the penalty area, and Melrose has stayed down. His boot came off completely there, as he threw his leg at it, but up here is Pearson, and here's Baird! Boulder off his line, flags up, there'll be a free kick against Baird for the challenge on the goalkeeper, and this is where it gets silly. All sorts of players getting involved where they don't need to do. The pushing and shoving goes on. Referee guns in quickly. It's the first really niggly moment there has been in the game. And for a start, referee gun wants everybody away apart from the players who are involved. And it was a good long high cross there initially. Now you see Pearson challenging. His elbow did catch the side of Shirtliff's head. Here's Baird coming in ahead of Reed, but Boulder gets there first. Baird continues his challenge. Boulder then loses his grasp of the ball. Edwards didn't touch him, I don't think, there, but there Shirtliff kicks Baird on the back of the head. Day's long kick, Pearson's under it with Shirtliff. Hacked away by Grit. Melrose has got Crooks moving sharply away down the middle. Humphries supporting down the right. And inside for Lee. Great save from Mervyn Day. Oh, and then the ball pushed through his own legs by Ashurst. That's the best save of the night. Well, Mervyn Day certainly earned his keep here for Leeds. Good ball inside from Garth Crooks, finding Lee in that centre-forward position, the toe poke. Fine save, and he was then put under pressure again by his own defender. But Leeds escaped. I think most people are resigned here to extra time, but the referee's the important man with the watch and the whistle. And Sheridan asks Aspin to race down that right-hand touchline once more. Gets it right too with Baird. And he's got past his man there, Neil Aspin. Oh, a little low cross. Here's Edwards for Leeds. Oh, and a good save by Boulder at the near post. Neil Aspin here making a strong surging run down that right. He did so well. He was a bit lucky actually to get the ball off the inside of Mark Reed's left leg. Plays in the cross here. Keith Edwards turns, and we've seen him in this situation so many times. I don't know whether it was going in or not, but Boulder had to make sure. Lenny Lawrence, the Charlton manager, very animated at the moment. A lot to say, but there's so much at stake. Adams winning that tussle, giving away the throw, which Humphrey will take. Inside for Peake. Sheridan wins it away from him, but so far almost the entire period has been spent in the Leeds half, and there's Peake's shot, and it trickled past that upright. Mervyn Day had leapt across there, so I think he knew where it was going. He didn't seem too happy with his defence over this though. Andy Peake gets in the shot with his left foot. It wasn't really the strongest of efforts. Yes, Day had it covered all right. And Leeds so anxious to get on with it. Billy Bremner leapt from the dugout there to throw that ball back to John Stiles. And Stiles it is who takes the throw to Edwards. Now Baird. Not much of a gap, so Baird comes inside, unleashes the shot. Good one too. He's not scored for 7 matches, so he must feel it's about time he got his name on the sheet. Good play this from Baird. He saw his only route to goal was to cut inside, and he struck it well. Boulder, though, is a good keeper. And there's a lot of room over on that touchline now as Adams sprints over to get in touch with Humphrey. Inside the area, Garth Crooks, but he's hustled away from it. Stiles will play a long ball down the middle for Pearson. Great flick on Edwards, and Miller used his hands there according to the referee. Miller doesn't think he did. He says it struck his head. It's a lovely ball from Stiles which put Miller under some pressure. Now John Sheridan has struck one free kick from this sort of distance tonight when he just cleared the crossbar. Leeds must be praying he gets it just under the crossbar. Bobby McDonald trying to find a place in the wall. What about him, says Garth Crooks, he's not one of us. Sheridan's got 15 goals this season, a lot of them from free kicks. Can he make it 16? John Sheridan's done it! The Leeds fans are going wild. Boulder disconsolate on his knees. Aspin's face says it all. They sense that the First Division could be beckoning for Leeds. He's never scored a more important goal in his career. John Sheridan, who scored at St Andrews earlier this season in a league game for Leeds, and has just signed a new contract to play with them next season. Must hope he's going to be playing it in the First Division. Here it is, he seems to point the way. Well, it flew into the net, it was perfect. Leeds 1, Charlton 0 in the first period of extra time. And it's the first time Leeds have been ahead in the tie. But Crooks here on the edge of the area finds Peake. Great run. Ashurst took it away at the crucial moment. But they're still here as Humphrey dinks in a little cross. Crooks couldn't get there. Away by Adams. Grit! Good strike, good save again. Well, grit is his name, and you'll excuse me for saying that grit is the characteristic most required by the players now. Humphrey pulled it back there. Crooks went in for the header. It was knocked away, and Grit, striking it first time, found Day perfectly positioned. And more desperation will creep into Charlton's play as the minutes tick away. Baird was up there, Crooks. Oh, and a chance for Peake to strike it. Day saves with his legs. Reed's here for Charlton. Hazelwood up there, Walsh gets it over the top. And Mervyn Day again is the saviour of Leeds United. Walsh headed over, but the real save there was from Peake. And no one deserves First Division football more than Mervyn Day. And he certainly had to be at his best here. Crooks laid it back, Peake struck it well. Day, what long legs he's got, and he used them to good advantage. And Reed is here. There's his cross. Miller's header, away by Baird of all people. Pearson couldn't get on the end of it, and Leeds now content just to hold everything at bay. Lee attacks down the right, and his body charged out of it by McDonald. He won't mind too much about giving away a free kick there. What it does mean is that Leeds have to soak up a bit more pressure. Humphrey. Well, that wasn't the best free kick for Charlton in the circumstances, though he has found Miller. It's a better looking cross. It's away by Adams, only as far as Grit, and it's still in that penalty area. Stewart. Oh, it's a goal for Charlton Athletic! And it's Peter Shirtliff. It's all square again. The former Sheffield Wednesday man, Shirtliff, has given Charlton a lifeline and sent those supporters into ecstasy. Would you believe it? Nobody will lie down in this tie. He's only got 3 goals before this one. Grit didn't strike it, and it paid off really. Stewart managed to wriggle the situation, turning it back. Shirtliff struck it sweetly. Day could do nothing about it. They always reckon it's better to come from behind in these situations. Charlton have got the lift now. Leeds must be feeling it might just slip away. But really, there's been nothing much predictable here. Lee bundled off it by Sheridan. Free kick for Charlton. Apart from one flashpoint, I would say the players have done very well tonight to restrain themselves. But now Mervyn Day there, getting that wall just where he wants it. It's got to be inch perfect, as we saw when Sheridan beat Boulder. Walsh runs over it. It's now left for Peake. Oh, it's a good one! Oh, it's the goal which might well have preserved First Division football for Charlton Athletic, and it's Peter Shirtliff again. The Charlton supporters delirious, and it's a Sheffield man who's probably kept Leeds in Division 2 for next season. What a dream story for Peter Shirtliff. He doesn't get many goals, but he's got 2 in the space of a few moments. which have turned the match on its head. When Leeds looked to be on their way to the First Division, Shirtliff equalised, and now he's headed them surely into the First Division again next season. We can see it once more. I'm sure nobody in Leeds wants to see it. It was well rehearsed. Peake chipped it in. Hazelwood didn't go for it. Shirtliff did, and he beat Ashurst. Oh, and the ball's in the net. Well, it's a cruel, cruel way for a season to end for Leeds United. Lenny Lawrence said that Charlton would fight to the death to hold on to the First Division status they only won last season. And you've got to give them total credit. A lot of teams would have laid down and died going a goal down in extra time. The referee, I think, has got the whistle ready to blow. That is the most astonishing way in which a Football League season has ever ended. Leeds going a goal up in extra time through Sheridan. Shirtliff snatching it away with 2 goals for Charlton. It's still not over, but the flag is up. Again, the referee, he's the most important man out there, looks at that watch, and it's beginning to look like First Division football next season for Charlton, Second Division football for Leeds United. They've put up a valiant effort here, but you feel it's not going to be enough unless Ashurst can get them moving. Adams picks it up. The referee keeps looking at that watch, but he's not blown it as yet, and Leeds have got a throw. Every Leeds supporter urging the team on. Styles has suddenly found a new pair of legs, I think, from somewhere. Adams with the cross, Boulders in there and makes the catch. And the referee raises his arm. Charlton have won it. Leeds can't believe it. You'll gather that they're Charlton fans. On the opposite side away from me, and Leeds supporters are applauding. It's been the most dramatic climax that one could ever imagine. The Football League season ends in total ecstasy for Charlton Athletic, and entire dejection for Leeds United.
You know, over 42 league games, we deserve to stay up. Obviously, this is Roy of the Rovers' finish, you know.
When that marvellous free kick went in from Leeds United, I mean, the temptation surely is for the lads' heads to go down.
Yes, I thought that's where we showed a lot of character. We've got to keep playing and keep doing the things what we're doing and getting a bit of success from. We aren't really getting any clear-cut chances. And I thought, you know, if we could just keep plugging away, we could create a couple of chances. Unfortunately, they just seem to both fall to me.
When was the last time you got 2 goals?
I've never scored 2 goals in my career. That's the first time. Not a bad signing by Alan.
Absolutely not, no. I mean, there's a rich irony. I mean, you're a Yorkshire lad yourself and you've resigned a Yorkshire team to the Second Division.
That's right. Well, you know, I mean, I feel a little bit for Leeds. I feel a little bit sorry for such as John Pearson, because I like the boy. But I'm a professional. I've got to play for Charlton, I'm afraid.
There is a fantastic atmosphere, I suspect, in your changing room right now.
Yeah, a lot of relief more than anything, Roger. You know, we're really pleased. Just delighted to stay in the First Division.
Well, that result was absolutely crucial. It meant that Charlton could continue their battle to return here to the Valley, with First Division revenue keeping them afloat. Under the old Houdini man, Lenny Lawrence, there was never any real danger of winning the title, but there were great escapes and some great games as well. West Ham Charlton, Upton Park, September '88. Paul Williams, a committed Hammers fan, grabs the headlines with 2 goals in a 3-1 win. Norwich Charlton, Carrow Road, October '88. Charlton come from behind to win 3-1. There are 2 more for Paul Williams. And in between, Paul Mortimer gets an outstanding individual goal. Newcastle, Charlton, St James's Park, January '89. Well, in the 90s, Robert Lee reaches the England squad with Kevin Keegan's Newcastle, Lee's to become a big star in the North East. No surprise that to Charlton fans, who always knew Robert Lee was a very special talent. Aston Villa Charlton, Villa Park, February '89. The late Tommy Caton is the driving force in the 2-1 victory. And also on the score sheet, the one and only Carl Lieben. Charlton Derby, Selhurst Park, May '89. The last home game. Victory guarantees First Division survival. Even Peter Shilton can't keep them out. QPR Charlton, Loftus Road, October '89. A rare win away from Selhurst thanks to a sharp strike from Paul Mortimer. And now 2 fine wins at Selhurst. Chelsea trounced 3-0. There's another brace for Paul Williams, but watch out for a brilliant last goal from Paul Mortimer. And finally, Manchester United are put to the sword. It's a terrific scalp for the team. The goals from the determined Williams aren't particularly special, but beating mighty Manchester United is a huge boost for everyone. Well, some great action, and one man who was very much part of it all, Steve Gritt. Steve, it was a roller coaster ride for everybody here in the 80s.
It was a big chapter, certainly in my career at Charlton, and it started very well, obviously, with promotion from the 3rd Division with Mike Bailey. But then all of a sudden we went through a period of 3 more managers in a short space of time, with Alan Mullery, Ken Craggs, then Lenny came in for his long spell. But fortunately the good times were pretty close, or just around the corner. We managed to get promotion, albeit in the same season that we actually left the Valley, which was a sort of a bad time for everybody concerned. But then to play in the 1st Division as well for 3 or 4 years, obviously a highlight of my career, having been an ambition that you always want to play in the 1st Division against the top clubs. But you know, in between all that, we had the playoff finals, which were introduced for the first time in the late 80s to play the end with 3 tremendous games against Leeds. You know, there's certainly plenty there for people to think about.
A lot happened here. You could never describe it as a dull decade, could you?
No, definitely not. I'm sure if I had enough time, I could probably write quite a good book about it. You know, so much has happened in that span of time that there was plenty there, plenty of good stuff. Plenty of disappointing stuff as well. You know, as I said, particularly with when we left the Valley. You know, that was a very disappointing time for everybody concerned at the club.
That day when you found out you were going must have been the blackest day of all.
Yes, it was. Obviously, we were told that they hoped it would be a short-term thing, but it turned out to be a little bit longer than that. And I know on the day I wasn't playing because I was injured. I remember coming out at half-time. The fans were on the pitch demonstrating, venting their feelings. And I went out just basically to try and get them off the pitch. I think we were winning 1-0 at the time, and I think I was more concerned with getting my wages and getting my bonus at the time, because we'd had the problem where
earlier in the 80s that we hadn't been paid for quite a while, and I think the story went at the time that when a rubber boat arrived somewhere in the Indian Ocean, we were actually going to get paid. But we managed to get through those times, and to actually leave here and achieve promotion in the same year, I think was a credit to all the players at the time.
Just finally, I mean, the fans who are watching out there, who have bought this video, they played a huge part in keeping Charlton going through the decade.
They did. I think they did all sorts of things to basically try and get us back here. They went back and voted in the elections and did all sorts of fundraising events just to keep the thing going. You know, they were determined that one day we're going to come back. And I think now when they turn up for games, they can look around this stadium and say, I'm a part of this. You know, and they played a very important part. You know, the directors that have put their money in, the supporters have put their money in. They've got a stadium to be proud of now.
That's right. Steve, thanks very much indeed. I hope we've stirred a few memories for you. It's been quite a decade. Charlton Athletic peered over the precipice. They've come back smiling, and they've come back to this fantastic stadium here at the Valley. We'll see you soon. From Steve and me, bye-bye.